I've read that animals are not harmed in any way in the creation of lab-grown meat. However, will this meat still have saturated fat and cholesterol, which could increase the risk of chronic diseases?
Well, that is a very perceptive question. And when I first heard about lab grown meat, I didn't know what to make of it. I'm still not 100% comfortable with the concept. But in the process, a piece of animal muscle is taken from a steer or some other animal, and ostensibly the animal is not harmed. I'm sure they all wind up at this day and age still going to the slaughterhouse, but in theory, the animal can go out back out to pasture with his roommates and pasture mates there. And so they're left with this piece of viable animal muscle. They put it in, they process it, they put it into a culture medium, and the muscle cells begin to divide. They wind up with a sheet of muscle cells, which they then can form into burgers and steaks, etc. And when I heard about this, welcome to the 21st century. You know, whoever thought they would be doing this, but indeed they are. And there's no question, you know, as far as on the continuum of that's wonderful or that's bad and crazy. This is I'm more on it's on the good side, but there's a whole lot of reservations attached to it. This is a very expensive process to create the culture medium. You've got to use a finely balanced mixture of amino acids and growth promoters, etc. The meat may wind up significantly expensive. It might be a fairly elitist kind of product. But that said, if they could bring the cost way down and the pollution that's created from it. There's some good things. Apparently, they don't have to use much in the way of antibiotics like standard meat does, etc. If they can have the creation process not be wasteful from the energy viewpoint or the pollution viewpoint, yes, I'm in favor of it, of course, because one, no animals are exploited and housed in factory farms and slaughtered. So that's by far the best advantage of it. And two, if the meat is being grown in buildings, then all the land that's now being cultivated for corn and soybeans to shovel down the gullets of these animals, all the forests that are being cut down to make grazing land and cropland for beef cattle, that is now freed up and the forest can come back and that land can be used for growing vegetables for people. And the potential is so significant that in my feelings, it certainly puts it on the yes, let's explore this if people insist on eating meat. That all said, back to the person's question, and it's my main reservation that yes, it's certainly more humane and it's more ecological. Yes, all that's true. But at the end of the day, you're still winding up a piece of animal muscle that you are eating. And yes, it's going to have cholesterol. Yes, it's going to have saturated fat. And it's going to have the effects in the human body that a T-bone steak has or a burger has. And what are some of those? Well, the main concerns is that when you eat a piece of meat and all the amino acids that are in that meat protein, it all flows up into the liver. And as the liver gets flooded with these amino acid building blocks from the animal muscle, the liver thinks, building blocks, let's build something with them. And in response, the liver puts out a surge of one of the most powerful growth promoting hormones known in biology, insulin-like growth factor 1, IGF-1. And IGF-1 turns the genetic lock in most every cell that is associated with growth and metabolism and speeds up energy usage, speeds up the aging process. And this is okay if you're an 8-year-old girl or a 10-year-old boy and you got a growing body there and you're eating protein. Yes, so nice response of IGF-1 is a good thing. But if you're an adult woman with an early breast cancer, Or if you're a guy with a big prostate with some malignant cells in there, the last thing you want is any kind of food that cranks up your IGF-1 level, because it's like throwing gasoline on a fire. It certainly can increase cancer growth if you've got an early kidney cancer. But there's other cells and other structures that might adversely respond. The tendon and the nerve sheath going down your wrist there. If IGF-1 makes them swell, you may wind up with a peripheral neuropathy, a carpal tunnel syndrome there. It's just an abnormal thing. We're not carnivorous apes. We're not meant to eat animal flesh 2-3 times a day like people currently do, and may well do with this lab-grown meat. And there's questions about what high protein diets do to the kidneys as the amino acids go through the kidney filters, the glomeruli. They force the kidneys to go into a state of hyperfiltration, which over the long term can damage the kidneys. We see so many people eating high meat diets wind up with chronic kidney disease and headed to the dialysis unit. Well, the lab-grown meat might hurry that along as well. And what does it do to the artery walls here? You still have to cook the lab-grown steak. And the very act of grilling the chicken breast or the steak or the burger, whatever lab-grown meat it is, very act of putting it under that flame oxidizes the cholesterol in the meat. And then when you eat it, the oxidized cholesterol are the most atherogenic particles, the ones that burrow into the wall of the arteries and set off the atherosclerotic plaque formation. And lab-grown meat may be just as prone to do that as naturally produced meat, and or might be even more aggressive. We don't even know here. So I certainly have some reservations from the biological point of view that it is still eating meat and it's still going to have those adverse effects. But I'll begrudgingly allow it into the panoply of new advances. If it frees up the animals, it takes the pressure off the earth, I welcome it, but with a big asterisk, there are lots of reservations from the physician's point of view. Is it really a healthy thing? That remains to be seen. I won't be surprised if the big oops starts showing up after 10 years of eating meat. We're seeing more kidney failure, more heart disease, more, or at least no reduction in those degenerative diseases there. So I'll give it a qualified good for the environment, but a big caution light is flashing as far as the health effects, as the questioners appropriately asked.
Yes, well, it really was a great formed question for this topic, and you covered all bases and I think gave a great answer. So thank you so much for that. And thank you all our viewers for tuning in. We'll see everybody next time.
Take care. Hi, everyone. Dr. Michael Klaper here, announcing our new format for our Q&A with Dr. K. Annie Hagen will be asking me one question that's been sent in by our viewers. So if you want to see if your question is getting answered, do join us for our Q&A with Dr. K right here. Hope to see you then.